Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Game Changer. I'm Mariam Zia. In today's program, we will be talking about the recently concluded visit of Prime Minister Kakar to China. Of course, we know that Prime Minister Kakar visited China on the invite of President Xi Jinping, and he visited China from 16th October to 20th October to attend the third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. In this visit, Prime Minister held bilateral meetings with President of China as well as PM of China and with other world leaders, including President Putin of Russia as well. We'll be talking about the key takeaways from this visit, what it means for Pakistan and how this is going to strengthen the already existing bilateral and strategic relationships between Pakistan and China. And when we talk about Pakistan's ties with China, we know that in the joint statement released by both countries, of course, both countries showed concern regarding the evolving situation in Middle East when we talk about Israel-Palestine conflict. We will be talking about the humanitarian crisis in Palestine and the world's response to it in the second segment of the program. To discuss this and more, we are joined in the studios by Mr. Naveed Aman Khan, who is Senior Analyst. Welcome to the program. We are also joined by Mr. Shehjar Khan, who is Senior Analyst and Expert in National Affairs. Welcome to the program. And we are joined online by Dr. Snan Javed, who is Economist and Expert in National Affairs. Welcome to the program. Mr. Naveed, let me start with you with the basic question that, in your opinion, what are the key takeaways from this important visit of Prime Minister Kakar to China?
Definitely, Mariam, it was very important for Pakistan, and it was very important for entire world, and it is a success story of CPEC and China as well. Chinese President Xi Jinping's economic vision is very clear about the connectivity and the prosperity of the region and the even the other parts of the world. Pakistan very positively participated and had signed many MoUs on different matters and different projects, especially one on railway, which is very important for Pakistan, and one about IT sector, many others.
ML1, IT
yes.
infrastructure.
Railway is very important for Pakistan because Pakistan's railway is suffering, and 1733 kilometers long railway line will be upgraded with the support and with the assistance of China, and it will really strengthen that CPEC route and CPEC fruits, which we are now expecting in the days to come. So Pakistan has done a lot on CPEC, but during the last 5 years, the speed and the momentum was not as much as it should be. But now I think the government and the authorities are more concerned on enhancing its speed and its momentum.
Mr. Shehjar, in your opinion, what are the major outcomes and key takeaways from this significant visit? Specifically, when we talk about the Memorandum of Understanding, we know that 20 MoUs have been inked between both the countries.
So, Mariam, the significance of this visit was to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the CPEC, and a lot of significant projects and MoUs, and the progress of a lot of other projects was also reviewed, and the cooperation was reiterated. When it comes to main projects, the one with the Gaza port, that was of a lot of significance, especially on the construction of the desalination plants, the completion of the Gaza International Airport. The desalination plant I keep mentioning over again because there is like a huge scarcity of drinking water in that area. And the desalination plant basically gives a lot of leeway to the local population as well, and builds their buy-in in the process as well. So the progress on the desalination plants is very important in that sense. Other than that, by providing opportunities to the local population, it also builds a very positive impact. And the Gaza International Airport and the Pakistan-China Friendship Hospital, their progress was also monitored, and satisfaction was given on the progress of that. So that is related to the Gaza port. ML1 railway, both countries basically reiterated their resolve to start this project as soon as possible. I think the feasibility studies of for this project in the latest capacity has been approved, and now the date for commencement of this project is being discussed, which will be very important. Other than that, the dualization or expansion of the KKH, that is also a very important aspect that was like discussed, because as we know that this pass and like that road is like closed in around 4 to 6 months throughout the year, and that like creates blockages when it comes to the trade between Pakistan and China. So the dualization and expansion of the KKH was also agreed upon. Other than that, obviously we have been discussing about the cooperation that Pakistan expects in the fields of mines and minerals, and that has direct linkages with the SIFC that was recently developed by the government of Pakistan. So Pakistan is looking for, and the MoUs were also signed, in cooperation and exploration of like mines and minerals. As we know that Pakistan doesn't have the capacity to basically conduct these surveys, and we don't even know the kind of treasures that are like hiding there in Balochistan, and we need expert advice and expertise from China in exploration of these mines and minerals, and that will expand the scope of SIFC as well.
Right, of course. These are the significant MoUs, Memoranda of Understandings, that have been signed between both the countries. But Dr. Sen, let's move towards the important meetings that were held between Prime Minister of Pakistan and President Xi Jinping. What were some key points that were discussed in these meetings, and how significant are these meetings for enhancing the bilateral ties and strategic partnership between both the countries?
Yeah.
Right. We have some technical issue. Mr. Shahryar, the same question I would like to pose to you, that important meetings between President Xi Jinping and PM Kakar were held in China. What is the significance of these meetings specifically, and how do you see these meetings in enhancing the already existing partnership between both the countries?
So, Mariam, these meetings were of a lot of significance. Other than the fact that a lot of like discussions revolved around Pakistan and China's cooperation around CPEC and the overall BRI network, a significant portion of that basically went into a lot of like political and strategic discussions. So Pakistan reiterated its resolve in upholding the One China policy, which is very important. Other than that, issues of regional concern was also discussed, and Pakistan gave the latest updates on the Indian occupation of Kashmir as well, and resolution of that issue according to the UN resolutions and charter. That was also discussed, and Pakistan also reiterated the resolve to uphold the One China policy. Any moves by the international community on the independence of Taiwan. Pakistan said that they will not support that in any way. Pakistan also discussed various regional issues when it comes to the South China Sea, the Hong Kong, Xinjiang issues, and Pakistan obviously resolved to stand next to China. Other than that, as you also mentioned in your introduction, that Pakistan and China also gave a joint declaration of sorts when it comes to the Israel-Palestine issue as well.
We will be touching upon that in second segment of the program. But Mr. Naveed, let's talk about the significance of this visit in the regards that what kind of opportunities and challenges, in your opinion, does it represent to Pakistan regarding its inclusion in Belt and Road Forum, and specifically when we talk about the socio-economic development of Pakistan?
Mariam, we are not facing such challenges from different other countries. We are facing challenges within the Pakistan because of different political, upset and political turmoil in the country during the last 5 years. We could not move ahead. But now the thing is this: we will have to make the country on that stable position. We'll have to address the things politically to end uncertainty in the country, and this uncertainty will really lead Pakistan towards stability. When the country is stable, we will overcome terrorism in different parts of the country, like in Balochistan, in KPK. We are facing that pressure for, as far as the
security challenges are concerned.
So we'll have to control that security challenges. China has made tremendous progress in Xinjiang province after controlling terrorism and extremism in that part of the country. And now China is, making absolute progress in Xinjiang, and that we need to follow that model, which has led China towards this CPEC. After controlling that terrorism in Xinjiang, China has established the CPEC and has connected the entire world in the entire region with China.
Of course, this is a global economic model. Dr. Stan, when we talk about Prime Minister's important engagements in China, of course, the sideline meeting with President Putin was also of significance. In your opinion, what are the key takeaways from this meeting, and how do you see this meeting in the context of enhancing the bilateral ties between both the countries, and what sectors were discussed in this important meeting?
Yes, as we have already discussed, the 20 of the MOUs been, on the table, and it is, practically on table, and they are going to sign, and they are moving on to the very pragmatic way. So, as far as the Prime Minister Kakar visit to Beijing also represent a diplomatic success. I would call it diplomatic success because the whole agenda behind that is the SIFC. So, under the SIFC, we have a perfect roadmap for everything till how can we, jointly take up the flagship program CPEC. So the emerging trend in the Middle East during the, because you are particularly asking what the geostrategic or geopolitical or geostrategic importance of that visit. So I'm answering
right.
that. So
and also the bilateral meeting with President Putin as well.
Yes. Yes. So the emerging trend in the Middle East due to the ongoing conflict between the Israel and Hamas, the Russia-Ukraine conflict deteriorating law and order situation, terrorism in the different region of the Afghanistan, the increased military presence of the US
and the Asia
Pacific and region, and the last but not least, the widening gap between the global north and the global south through the unilateral economic protectionism and socio-economic situation, technological bans and chip, and the China, Huawei, Iran and Pakistan have further marginalized the brighter prospects of the Pakistan. So the close political consultation, diplomatic support, and additional pledge of the economic cooperation, especially the CPEC phase 2, hold great significance. And the major announcement by the President Xi is the announcement of the new global initiative of AI. So AI technology is a new value addition in the strategic expansion of the BRI in the further, which will definitely further increase the spirits of the development and the digitalization in the member countries.
Right, of course. Mr. Shahjar, can you shed some light on President Putin's meeting with Prime Minister Kakar, and how significant is this for Pakistan's relationship with Russia, enhancing Pakistan's relationship with Russia in different sectors, specifically when we talk about energy sector as well as security issues were also under discussion. Can you tell us about that?
So, Mariam, three main areas were discussed between President Putin and Prime Minister Kakar. One of that was reiterating Pakistan and Russia's resolve to jointly promote peace and stability in Afghanistan. And Afghanistan is a very crucial state when it comes to connectivity between Central Asia, and if you look at the West, it's like more connected very closely with Russia as well. So peace and stability in Afghanistan is very crucial. And joint terrorism, counter-terrorism cooperation, security cooperation between Russia and Pakistan was discussed in a lot of detail. Other than that, Pakistan's team also attended the energy summit in Russia very recently as well. So that also came into a lot of discussion, in which Prime Minister Kakar invited Russian companies through President Putin to come and invest in Pakistan's energy sector. Pakistan is looking to diversify its energy mix as well, and we are focusing more on renewable energies. And there is a huge gap in the market that can attract investment from Russian companies in this field as well. Other than that, a lot of like cooperation or like exploration of like other avenues of cooperation, such as like gas imports, oil imports, and how this cooperation can be enhanced. So this was like the main sources of discussion.
Right. And in your opinion, in the evolving global political situation and geopolitics of the region as well, what is the significance of this meeting?
So, first of all, Mariam, we've been discussing this in our programs that now I think the whole world which revolved around a unipolar superpower, that world is like now coming to its end. And now we can like see that a lot of like regional superpowers or like a multipolar world is like now emerging, with Russia, China asserting themselves and emerging as global superpowers. I see this will have a major impact on a lot of like conflict situations in the world that are emerging. We can see the conflict in the Middle East and you know, Russia-Ukraine issue as well, and a lot of like other conflicts throughout the world. So when it comes to China, China recently launched the Global Security Initiative, in which they basically presented a new version or a new order in the world that basically focuses more on cooperation rather than security. Pakistan is also moving away from geostrategy and moving towards geoeconomics. And under the overall umbrella of the BRI network, China has already presented a model that focuses more on regional cooperation rather than geostrategic gains and losses.
Of course. And when we talk about regional cooperation and geoeconomics, the free trade agreement between Pakistan and China has remained an important point of discussion. Dr. Hassan, can you tell us about free trade agreement between Pakistan and China and its significance, especially in the context of the recent visit of Prime Minister Kakar to China?
Yes, of course. The further expansion is trans-regional connectivity and greening the Belt and Road initiative. They are having the 100 of MOU over there. MOU in the subtitling in over, if we count it, it is more. It is in total it's 20. But the subline sub-agreement of MOU is more than 100. So the Greening the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, the Chinese President Xi Jinping announced several major steps. So these include the construction of the multi-dimensional Belt and Road connectivity network, support for open world economy, initiation of the various livelihood project, pilot zone for the Silk Road, e-commerce cooperation. E-commerce cooperation, they are taking Pakistan into the part, and Pakistan is going to the further robust process of the IT. And let me tell you one thing, this conference, after this conference, or what we call it BRF, after that we will enter into the huge magnanimous program of the IT sector, or the what we call it e-commerce sector or e-commerce corporation. So entry into the free trade agreements and the investment protection, as I always told you, that word must have to come out of the bilateral or multilateral. It is about the free trade agreement. So we are moving on to the free trade agreement and investment protection treaties with more countries, promotion of the green development, advancement in the scientific and technological innovation, fostering the people-to-people exchange, generating the integrity-based Belt and Road Cooperation, which is the core of all the hub. So they have cut down all the criticism and the myth that they have the imperialist ideology. They don't have any of the imperialist ideology. What they are saying, integrity-based Belt and Road Cooperation and institution building for the International Belt and Road Cooperation.
Right, and so Dr. Sen, when we talk about this cooperation, when we talk about specifically about this cooperation, of course, Prime Minister held meetings with other stakeholders of China, especially when we talk about businesses and investors in China. How do you see the future of Chinese investments in Pakistan, and what kind of challenges, in your opinion, exist at the moment for creating a conducive environment for Chinese investment?
I'm very much positive that, I mean, because there is a participation, more than 100 representatives of the business from all of the countries endorse the Chinese economic policies of openness and modernization. So according to the Chinese figure, it is a central SOE invested over US $1 trillion with over 5,000 BRA projects in the last decade. So your important part, your question is about the, how Chinese businesses comes to Pakistan. This is very much important that our Pakistan, the governmental structure must be the 15% and the 85% involvement of the business community, so that state-owned enterprises must be completely on the tax holidays, and they have given the space, they have given the exercise, they have given the banking facility or the loan facility, or the lowest of the lowest, or maybe in my opinion it should be on the zero interest rate, so that we can develop those industries what China is asking for us. So because the whole of the region, you are I mean seeking to it as the other region is, completely into the distress. So this is the high time to find out the gap. So moreover participation of the 140 countries and sideline meeting with the Prime Minister, it is the comprehensive part. He's most luckiest man if he find the sideline meeting with the 140 countries. So we can get the 100 of the FDIs into Pakistan, but we have to, the necessary action is the Ministry of Industries, Board of Investment and Planning Division must have to sit together and make the one window operation. And again, the special economic zones. So 9 special economic zone must be on the first part. 4 economic zone must be operational on a very fast way and a very fast moving way. So it is very much important to develop the state-owned special economic zone in a highest value with the meritocracy or meritocratic way. We must have to install the best of the best CEOs for the state-owned enterprises.
Right, of course, that is very significant. But when we talk about Belt and Road Initiative and China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, regional connectivity remains an important aspect of this. And specifically, when we talk about Gawadar Port, this is considered the crown jewel of CPEC as well. Can you tell us about the progress on some of the initiatives and what significance does this visit holds in speeding up the already existing initiatives?
Regarding Pakistan or Gawadar?
Yes.
The development is on a very important pace, and the Gawadar is being importance now. It should have been given importance 10 years back, and by this time Gawadar should have been a complete hub of economy in Pakistan. But unfortunately, it could not. But I think within the next 1 year or so, Gawadar will become an international city and a matter and a hub of economy in the region. And CPEC will be effectively, working right from Xinjiang to Gawadar. Because of this security issue, we could not see that sort of progress on CPEC. But Xi Jinping in this visit, he has focused on the elimination of terrorism. He has stressed the need that Pakistan will have to focus on the crushing of the terrorist elements in Pakistan and make the security of the Chinese experts and Chinese technicians foolproof. And Pakistan is now making very important steps for the security.
Right, of course. Of course, security challenges we know that have remained a significant aspect. But when we talk about this historic visit, Mr. Shehjar, some progress has been made, specifically when we talk about Gawadar Port, as well as enhancing, like you were earlier pointing towards, Karakoram Highway as well. Can you tell us about the progress of some of the initiatives and how this is going to speed up, and what kind of projects or initiatives like artificial intelligence was also discussed, sharing of human resource, and in the second phase we know that the focus is going to be the human development as well. Can you tell us about the significance of this visit in regard to the upcoming projects and initiatives?
So Mariam, now we are entering the phase 2 of CPEC.
Yes. We've already entered.
We've already entered. And in the phase 2 of CPEC, now there's like much more focus on human development. It's like more focus on transferring of technology. It's focus on establishing technical and vocational training institutes and bringing Pakistan's labor up to par to international standards, so that they can basically start like playing an important role in the actualization of the CPEC. Other than that, a lot of discussions are also taking place in making the practical feasibility of the special economic zones as well, and transfer of some technology and Chinese industry to the Pakistan side. So all of these areas are like very important in realizing the second phase of CPEC that is being discussed. The joint working group on IT that signed a lot of MoUs between China and Pakistan as well, and that is like focusing more on lessening the digital divide that exists between the people of Pakistan as well as the Chinese capabilities. So in that sense, a lot of discussions have been taking place, and a lot of like projects have also been implemented on providing fast internet services, on digitization of a lot of like services that the government basically provides to its citizens. Other than that, establishing a lot of like IT hubs in these special economic zones, that was also discussed.
Of course, that is very significant. But Dr. Sen, when we talk about Pakistan's ties with China and specifically CPEC, energy cooperation remains crucial to it. Can you tell us about some of the initiatives regarding energy sector, and also how do you see this visit enhancing the strategic partnership between Pakistan and China?
Including the energy sector, there are the three main areas which, I mean, fortunately I was there at that time when it was been discussing. So the Chinese signed 20 agreements. So the two sides signed 20 agreement MoU covering the cooperation on the BRI, infrastructure, mining industry, green and low carbon development, health, space corporation, digital economy, which is very much focal and vital as AI technology is going to have a long way. So development of the cooperation and export of the agriculture products to the China. Export of the agriculture product to China, which has never been happen, and this is going to happen. So the China support on the CPEC, which is very much important statement. It is evident that the Chinese leadership have reaffirmed their support for the Pakistan and the CPEC, which shows their strategic vision of the openness, modernization, global community for the shared development and the quantitative industrial development. And one of the most important is the ML1, which is about the US 7 billion. Would be the game changer for the upgradation, expansion and connectivity of Pakistan rails in the country, which is very much required, and we are, I mean, quite very slow in that. And now we are, they joined together. ML1 is on the task 1. So the task rail section, it is the Pakistan Prime Minister Anwar-ul-Haq Kakar visit to China set the stage for the new era of the CPEC projects. So particularly the acceleration of the Thakur section, a critical segment of the Karakum Highway, known for its sharp bends and limitations. It is poised for an overhaul of the state-of-the-art tunnel for the reducing the travel time and enhancing the safety, which is a magnanimous project, I would say, Mariam. So the road classification will be advanced by the class of 4 and class 2. And the third most important thing is the Highway Research and Training Center, which has never been done in that way, so which is very much important. They are taking our human resource into their matter. That's mean they are owing our human resource. So that's mean the Highway Research and Training Center also stands as one of the vital and pivotal project permanently taking center stage as the primary highlights of the Prime Minister Kakar visit. A promising joint research program is envisioned with the government, and then they are moving to the economic benefit of the Pakistan, and as far as the power sector is concerned, they are moving on to the coal power project. And the solar power.
Of course, so we've already discussed different sectors in which both countries are going to be collaborating further, and of course this visit was significant when we talk about enhancing the strategic partnership between Pakistan and China. And in this visit and in the joint statement, we see that both leaders also showed concerns about the evolving situation in Middle East, specifically when we talk about Israel-Palestine crisis. We'll be talking about that, but after a short break. We will be talking about the evolving situation and the humanitarian crisis in Palestine. Of course, we know that according to Palestinian sources, more than 4,000 Palestinians have been killed in the recent strikes by Israel. Of course, this is creating a crisis not only in Israel and Palestine, but its effects are spilling over to the neighboring countries as well as in the region as well, and how the world is going to respond to this. We will be talking about this. Mr. Shajar, when we talk about this evolving situation in Middle East, this is important because this is creating not only a humanitarian crisis but security crisis as well as economic, social crisis in the region as well. Let's talk about from the basic question that can you tell us about the evolving situation and specifically the humanitarian crisis in Palestine, specifically Gaza Strip and the West Bank?
So Mariam, the situation in Gaza ever since Israel declared war on Hamas, it's a very grave situation that we're facing, and it's also a test case for the international community, and it is also exposed a lot of dual policies mainly of the Western countries. When we talk about the UN brokered ceasefire, a lot of countries have basically brought in resolutions in the Security Council, and they have been vetoed by the US, which stands as a very staunch ally of Israel in this war. That is creating a lot of issues and frictions amongst a lot of regional powers as well and in the Middle East. And now this war, as you mentioned in your intro, is spilling over to the neighboring countries as well. And very recently Israel has been bombing key areas in Syria as well as Lebanon as well. And when it comes to Hamas targeting, and Hamas and Gaza Strip, as you know, is a very small area per square kilometer, and it hosts a population of 2 million people. So up till now, around over 4,500 women and children and civilians have been killed. Half of them are children. So the toll in terms of life that is the Palestinians are paying for is unprecedented. And one thing that I have observed, which I haven't seen previously, I didn't see this when Russia attacked Ukraine. All of the Western capitals, including Paris, various cities in the US, Spain, France, people have come out in the hundreds and thousands in numbers against this invasion by Israel. And that's a very positive impact, especially in the Western countries. I know that Islamic countries, we already have a historical...
Right. Mr. Naveed, let me ask you about the humanitarian aid that is required in specifically in Gaza Strip and to the neighboring areas as well. Of course, we know that Israel has now agreed to let some of the aid pass through the Rafah border. Can you tell us about this, and is this response enough? Of course, Pakistan has also sent its aid package, humanitarian aid package to Gaza and Palestine as well.
It is still insufficient because the crisis is too big. And the Palestinians are waiting for that, support or aid or rescue, not only from the West, from the Middle East and Pakistan, from different, from all of the world. And the most important thing is this, that America will have to intervene at this stage. Otherwise, the crisis will be widened, and the Israelis will not stop bombing or raiding or moving in Palestine. Pakistan has very importantly sent that aid to Palestine, and
PM Kakar also telephoned.
Yes, he has called Mahmood Abbas, well, and it is very important. President of Pakistan has also visited Palestinian embassy in Islamabad. So these are very important moves by Pakistan. But the things should be moved in a bigger way. Saudi Arabia's role is very important as far as the political or diplomatic pressure is concerned. American pressure is very important. America is the one country which can make the difference. America should resolve or should move ahead to resolve the issue immediately.
Right.
Otherwise, the Palestinians will be crushed. And this is very important.
Of course, Dr. Sen, the response of the world is significant, specifically when we talk about US response to this ongoing crisis. We know that President Joe Biden visited Israel as well. And yes, of course, US has now deployed its forces in the Middle East. How do you see this situation evolving in the coming days? Because China has also announced sending its forces to Middle East. How do you see this response of world power, and what needs to be done?
Actually, you answered so well. Well, even then I try to answer it. So the two countries also, I mean, surely the Pakistan and China, and I really appreciate Pakistan to be, I mean, fixed with their stance. And the two countries like China, also expressed a deep concern over the current escalation of the tension and the violence between the Palestine and Israel, call an immediate ceasefire and, I mean, what we call it, the hostilities by the Israeli. But the response, what you mentioned and what you're pointing out is very much important. The US stand with the Israel as long as it stands. So this is their statement. And I'm not giving the statement by my side. It is the statement by the US. The US stand with the Israel as long as it stands. Rishi Sunak by the Britain, so that's mean it is the representation of the Britain. It is with the Israel. He is also in Israel. So simultaneously, the US in the seeking to delay an Israeli ground offensive in Gaza. So they are seeing that all are the kids, or they are moving on to the genocide way, or they are the 300 plus 300,000 of the military is onto the move to the Gaza Strip, and which is very much seen in hope of getting more hostages out of the more humanitarian aid into the biggest enclave. I mean, according to the two sources of the briefing, into the discussion. But the Israeli president claimed the chemical weapon formula found on the body of the Hamas militant. So Hamas militant is nothing to do with the Israeli of the Palestine. I mean, Palestine is not asking. They're just kids and the mothers, and there are no men's are fighting on any way possible. So direction of the making chemical weapons to use on a civil targets have been discovered as USB drive found on the body of the Hamas terrorists involved in October 7 attacks. That what Israeli President Isaac Herzog has claimed. What they all trying are, they are moving on to the Hezbollah side, they are moving on to the Hamas side,
right,
they
are
also pointing out to the Al-Qaeda side.
Of course, and Dr. Sen, do you see this impact or this crisis moving or spilling over to the neighboring countries? Of course, we have seen that there have been skirmishes between Israeli forces and at the border areas of Lebanon, Egypt as well. Do you see this crisis spilling over in the whole region?
Yes, of course. I mean, Arab wave is not at all involving in this, but now Lebanon and other countries, as you are mentioning very well. But the biggest part is the whole world and whole social scientists are saying that they are going to squeeze the China and the Russia, which is very much bad. So it could be, I mean, the initiation of the Third World War. So we must have to involve, and US must have to behave maturely, so that this sort of the happening would not happen in any way possible, because world need peace. As the President Xi Jinping in the BRF forum, he says that peace is inevitable, and Russia and China is moving to the peace, so they are trying their level best to have the peace. And also it exposed the idea of the Ukrainian war, that Ukraine has not started this game, and even Russia has not defending or escalating this issue. There is some other power who wanted to have the Southeast Asian region, Lebanon or the Middle East or the Saudi Arabia must have to be in the war. So there is some tactical game behind that.
Right, of course. Thank you very much, Dr. Sain Javed, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Mr. Naveed Aman Khan, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Mr. Shehjar Khan, for joining us in today's program. Of course, when we talk about Israel-Palestine crisis and the humanitarian crisis in Palestine, that is now spilling over to the neighboring countries, and it is going to impact the whole region as well. And of course, the humanitarian organizations as well as United Nations need to play their part. The international community need to ensure that the humanitarian laws are and the laws of war are implemented in Palestine, and the aid that is required to the Palestinian civilians are reached to them in time. In timely manner. And of course, in today's program we also discussed about Prime Minister Kakar's visit to China, and this is significant in regards to the evolving global economic situation as well as the geopolitical situation emerging in the region. That's all from our side today. Take care. Allah Hafiz.